These were the scenes outside of Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Aerial footage of what appears to be ICE being denied entry into Dodger Stadium was taken overhead. They would get in their cars and turn around to exit the premises. The team has stated they were the reason Trump's modern-day Gestapo team were not allowed in. Activists and others on the ground say that is hogwash. Conflicting reports would then surface. So, with that being said, let's dive in.
Those agents showed up here at Dodger Stadium, and they were cornered by protesters because the Dodgers did not let them into the parking lot. Behind me, where people are going in for the game right now, there's a chain link fence that is closed when the games are not being played. And so these federal agents, ICE says it wasn't them, but CBP says it was their agents, so Border Patrol, they tried to get in and the Dodgers rejected them. So they were quickly frankly, boxed in by protesters.
Yeah, there's a weird kind of gaslighting here, right? So the Dodgers say, look, ICE came here. There were reporters who were there at the moment. There was video online, right? And then ICE says, false, we were never there. And DHS says CBP vehicles were in the stadium parking lot very briefly, unrelated to any operation or enforcement. But that feels like not that credible.
This all played out before the eyes of our own viewers on MSNBC Live. I've been here virtually the entire day, and I drove here as soon as I heard that this was going on, and we watched those federal agents basically be rescued by the Los Angeles Police Department, who opened the gates here and allowed them to go out a different side of Chavez Ravine. They didn't have to go through the protesters.
This is true, as captured by activist and lawyer Richie Sergenko of the People's City Council. He took plenty of video on his Twitter showcasing the amount of Los Angeles Police Department officers providing their services. So while the Dodgers continue to try and save face by claiming they helped the people of Los Angeles, their fans, by denying their property to ICE, local journalists at LA Taco stated the following.
When ICE showed up to the Dodger Stadium this morning, Dodgers were quick to say, hey, we didn't give them permission to go into the parking lot. They were denied entry, right? And then the Border Patrol said, yo, Dodgers, this had nothing to do with you. Vehicles were there in the stadium parking lot very briefly, unrelated to any operation or enforcement. So what was the Homeland Security doing there? Well, in my previous video, I show you. We find out that they were actually transferring prisoners that they had detained from different raids, including the Home Depot one in Hollywood. This is Job Garcia. And they were putting them into another vehicle. Ali Bradley TV tweeted out, I just talked with CBP sources with knowledge of what happened today at Dodger Stadium. CBP teams went to Hollywood Home Depot to make apprehensions. They did. They were going to transfer them to transfer vans off Sunset Boulevard, but when things escalated outside of the Home Depot, they went to an open parking lot at Dodger Stadium to make the consolidated transfer. Agents say no one came over and told them to leave. Now, yesterday, the Dodgers were supposedly going to make an announcement today about how they were going to help immigrant communities, right? Well, they haven't done that. We've been waiting around all day for how they were going to do that. And this just got tweeted out earlier today. Dodgers president Stan Kasten said organization is postponing its announcement of support of immigrant communities, which was supposed to come this afternoon. Quote unquote, because of the events earlier today, we continue to work with groups that were involved with our program, but we are going to have to delay today's announcement while we firm up some more details. We'll get back to you soon with the timing.
Torres, as seen in the LA Taco video, would feature this piece of footage showing a fan being escorted out because they held up an anti-ICE sign. Torres called it back to business as usual for the ball club. The keep politics out of sports crowd. Where are they? Because they're really, really silent on this. Confirming LA Taco's reporting was NBC News, who wrote, two sources familiar with the matter said federal agents in government vehicles carrying detainees showed up at Dodger Stadium on Thursday morning but were turned away. They would add, the source familiar with Dodgers' operations said that agents involved in federal immigration enforcement have not been allowed to use stadium property for staging, but that Los Angeles police assigned to protests have used a parking area at the stadium as they prepared to deploy. The news was also confirmed by Emily Phillips, an Echo Park Rapid Response community member who would share photos with the Los Angeles Times showing two vehicles that were at both the Hollywood Home Depot and Dodger Stadium on Thursday, as identified by their license plates. As we have covered previously, and that video is on demand, Dodger Stadium has practically been colonized after they kicked out folks who lived there for a very, very, very long time to build Dodger Stadium.
When Walter O'Malley brought the Dodgers to Los Angeles in the 50s, Chavez Ravine was 3 neighborhoods, Palo Verde, Bishop, and La Loma. It was Latino families that were forcibly evicted to create the construction of Dodger Stadium. And over the years, they have won back the trust of the Latino fan base to where I believe it's the majority of the fan base of the Dodgers today. But the idea that ICE would be in or around the parking lot, the idea that that controversy over the national anthem happened was very disturbing to a lot of people who I think in another circumstance call this place blue heaven on earth.
In closing, this is going to continue to be very, very troubling for not just Los Angeles, but also for the United States of America. We have journalists now uncovering that some of the people that were, in my view, illegally detained outside of a Home Depot were then being held in police cruisers, ICE vans, etc. at Dodger Stadium. I've even seen reports of how staging government officials and their cars in parking lots, their vehicles in parking lots that belong to, for example, Dodger Stadium, could be customary. And this is a practice that goes on. Why? Once again, and I know, as we have seen with the ongoing war crimes that are happening in the Middle East, where it's commonplace to hear from many that are paying attention that every accusation is a confession. When the MAGA folks and Republicans and centrists say, keep politics out of sports, what it always seems to be is politics in sports for me, none for thee. Because if you truly hated the infusion of politics in sports, you know what you would be doing? Screaming from the mountaintops that a professional sports team is allowing the premises that they have to be used to hold, even though they say it's not them, they've gone on the record, contradictory statements, DHS, other government officials as well. This is ludicrous. This should not be happening, and yet it is happening. And let me also just say, there are many, it's daunting to even pay attention to. There are many within tons of communities throughout this country that are saying it'll all work itself out. Oh, this is just a flash in the pan. The Trump administration, the fascism is just a flash in the pan. It is not. And when I hear that, what really irks me is we're just glossing over the fact that these people, the activists who went out there and protested and intentionally made a fuss so that way Jacob Soboroff would go, MSNBC would go, other activists would go, lawyers would go, media outlets would go. They are the ones that deserve credit. The organizers, community builders, those who participate in grassroots activism. When someone says it'll all work itself out, what you are doing is undermining the efforts of those very people who are fighting fascism on the front line. I truly do wonder if they did not go out there and they were a part of the group that said, everything will be fine. Would the Dodgers have even made a statement, if it's true or not, that they denied entry? I don't know. I honestly don't think they would. So it is time, it is overtime, that we all start participating a little bit more. You have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, it doesn't matter. Participate if you are not able to go to a protest, if you are not able to leave your house, your apartment, your condo, whatever. And if you are, join a movement and make your voice heard that much more. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to TYT.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.